Have you clicked on self-help videos and ended up thinking, that's not for me? You've just given me a whole list of things to add on to another list of problems already, and now you're feeling overwhelmed and you're burnt out and you're thinking, well, you're just not going to do anything. So let me just unpack this for you. When I've looked at self-help videos, I'm thinking, what? You want me to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You want me to go for a run. I must go for a daily walk. I need to journal. I need to meditate. I need to read. I need to create something. And you're thinking, when have I got time for everything that you're suggesting? You might do a little bit when you're on holiday and think, wow, this was great. I managed to do some of these things because you have this free time. But how does that fit into your working life? It doesn't, right? I mean, myself, I was a single mum working full time and just trying to juggle everything. And if I'd listened to the other self-help tips, I just would not have been able to find the time. So I'm going to tell you how I managed to find time to make my life very different. I went from broke to luxury. Let me unpack this for you in very simple terms so that you can use these tips and advice. The first thing you have to do is be brutally honest with yourself. Do you want to change? Why do you want to change? Because if you really don't, you're not gonna. It's just not going to work for you. So the first thing you have to do is ask yourself that. It's all about time and choices. And that's the other thing as well. Your time. Have you looked at your screen time? How much time are you spending on your phone? You can easily find this out by looking at your screen time. Is it 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours? Because if that's the case and there's a lot of screen time, then yes, you've got time. Now, if you're someone like myself where you're thinking, hang on a minute, you're probably doing a good 16 hours of full on either work or, dealing with, your children, or, you're doing, say, cooking of this or anything, then you're like, how am I going to implement that? So I managed to find a way, even though life, I'd say, was working over 16 hours in the day of pure busyness. So what I did, my first thing I looked at was my time and how can I learn in my day. So I didn't have time for reading. Reading for me was what I would consider a luxury. I kept that for holidays because that meant more downtime, enjoyable reading. Maybe the odd novel, a few pages before bed, before going to sleep, before you just absolutely collapse and, into the land of Nod. But what I did is when I was driving, I used to drive a lot for work. I used to have to drop my daughter off and then, say, drive to appointments. I'd put on audio. I was able to listen and learn. I could listen to, there's books now online, there's so much information on audio, and that's what I did. I kept listening all the time. I would be, instead of the radio or just listening to music, I was like, do you know what, I want to learn. So instead of that, I made that a priority, and that wasn't me using up any more of my time because I was in the car anyhow. When I'm sat there in traffic, I was able to just carry on listening to what I was listening to and learning. So that was one way that I was able to have better use of my time, and that's what it comes down to. I don't do as much driving nowadays, so I find that I'm able to learn whilst I'm cooking. I listen to whatever I want whilst I'm cooking, or as I'm about to go in the shower, whilst I'm showering, it's playing. And that kind of motivates me because I'm thinking, great, I've just learned something new. Whilst I'm tidying up, I'll leave something playing. Sometimes I think, oh, do you know what, I want to learn another language or whatever it is that I want to have a bit of a go at. I'm just just looking at my time so differently. Another thing I did was I outsourced. So you might think, well, actually, Trace, I can't afford to outsource. Well, okay, let me just go through this one with you. At the time, like I say, really busy, and on the weekends, say for instance, a nice day on Sunday, I wanted to spend that time with my daughter. So what I also did was I outsourced. So if you're thinking, well, actually, Trace, that's quite expensive, well, hear me out on this one, right? So because of work and everything else, I wanted to make sure I had some really valuable time with my daughter. So what I did is I paid somebody else to do my ironing for me. And ironing for me is something I like to have done, but I'm quite slow at ironing, so I can have a pile of ironing and I could be there for say 3-4 hours. So what I did, I paid someone, they came to the door, right, and you just give it the bag, they did the ironing for me, they come back a few days later, everything's on the hangers, and I just put it in the wardrobe and it was done. And it cost me, because it was all down on weight, and it was all like my daughter's school blouses, my work attire and other bits and pieces, and it only cost at that time about £15, and that led me to have 3 to 4 hours of time that I could spend with her on a Sunday, and it was so worth that £15. So it was just another way of me looking at my time, and I think, why not? I'm worth more than that. That daughter and mother time was worth way more than £15 for us to go and spend a lovely day together. So is there anything at all that you can outsource? Something else that really swallowed up my time was text messaging. I don't text message. Well, I do. That would be a lie if I said I don't, but I don't like it. I'm rubbish at it, and you could send me a really long message and I would only respond back with a couple of words, which people necessarily don't like. I'd much rather pick up the phone. We can sort out, whether it's a meeting or whether it's something that's happening, everything can get discussed in a few minutes to endless backwards and forwards from text messaging. I haven't got the time to do that. So I'm old school and I'd rather phone. Are you old school? Do you prefer just picking up the phone and chatting? See, my daughter, for instance, to get her to pick up the phone is a nightmare. She'd rather have me text message her. But I think when you chat on the phone, not only that, it's much more personable, and also you don't misinterpret the messages like, oh, that person sounded a little bit off or something. You're not going to get any of that because you're on the phone to them, rather than trying to read a text message. So, that's another way that for me, I did save on time by not actually spending hours just backwards and forwards text messaging. Like I said, it's just not who I am at all. If time is truly not on your side and you're really struggling to find time to work out, right, then is there things that you can swap in your day? So for instance, is it possible perhaps that in work, instead of taking the lift, you can take the stairs? All of those types of things where you think, well, actually, I'm getting my steps in. Me, do you know what I do? At the moment, I want to get fitter. I'm trying to go for runs in the day, and I'm only starting out by just doing 10 minutes. I can do 10 minutes, right? I can fit 10 minutes in for a run. And then what I'm doing in the daytime, I keep doing squats. So as I'm chatting on the phone, because I do spend time chatting to people, then what I do is I do some squats. I'm just doing them here, there, everywhere. Little things like that will just have an improvement. The thing is though, progress is key. You don't have to go big. And I think that's where people get overwhelmed. You know, do an hour here, do this, do that. If you just start by doing it as small little things, it just increases. And I think by doing it, even if it was a minute a day, you know, just by doing something, that's progress. You will feel so much better in yourself when you make progress, rather than, oh, well, I haven't got time for that. And you just hear yourself with all these excuses. You know, that's just not going to help you whatsoever. But just, right, I'll give you another one. No time to meditate, say. I've got something for you. Just this simple exercise can help you feel great in your day. And all that is you breathe in for 4. So you inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. That's it. Even doing that once a day will help your body just go into a more relaxed state and help you. Yes, meditation has amazing benefits, and I love when I actually meditate. But if you are feeling overwhelmed, start small. The small steps lead into big steps. It's better to take a step rather than no steps. And that's how my life has changed round, by doing little things. And then you'll find, my God, say you really start enjoying something because it's become a habit. You'll just end up doing more of it. But it's better to start than not. So anyhow, I hope you'll find this video very helpful. Please, if you could, like this video, it really will help me. And if you like content like this, the no fluff type content, then please do subscribe to my channel, because that would be fantastic. And I'd love to have you with me on life's journey. Anyhow, take care for now. Take care. Bye.